Hello and welcome back, guys. Welcome to the Business of Happiness podcast. And I'm your host, Dr. Tarryn McCarthy. And as always, today is going to be a great day because we're talking about why the holidays are so hard and how we can just make them easy. You know, as a woman in dentistry, business owner, a leader, a mom, a speaker, a daughter, the go-to in my family to fix all things and to solve all the problems, I know what it's like to be experiencing difficult, hard holidays and what makes the end of the year so hard. What makes it feel stressful and overwhelming? What do I mean by hard? I mean, efforting. Like you have so much to do in so little time. I think that's one of the big things about the end of the year is feels like a deadline, like a race to the finish. And you have all kinds of expectations for the year, especially financially, right? Financial goals that you had hoped that you would achieve during the year. You had a certain number in mind, and maybe over the year that number grew because you did really well, or it grew because you spent more money on things that had to be spent on, right? Sometimes it's very necessary things in the office or in your life. But now the end of the year is approaching, and what you do is you look at the calendar and the number of weeks suddenly feels really small. They start to get into the single digits. And your thought is, there's no way I could possibly have enough time to make enough money to reach that goal or to reach that expectation I had. And you start to get a little panicky, right? That feeling of, shallow breathing, your chest feels tight. You start getting really distracted. Things feel urgent and like, suddenly you notice more and more things taking your attention. You start to get scattered. I don't know if any of you have realized or noticed this behavior where you get into a room and you think, oh my gosh, what did I come in here for? Or what was I just about to say? Or what was I just about to do? You open your computer and go, oh, what was I just about to do? You start noticing your attention being stripped and thinned out around so many different things. And just then, the reminders in your email start to come about end of year concerts for your kids or the play that they need a certain costume for or an outfit for, or parties that you need to prepare cupcakes for or desserts or drive kids to unexpectedly. And suddenly there are days that end earlier in the calendar where it's early release day or no school on this certain day. My husband used to call it no school November because there'd be all these sudden breaks and holidays and single school days that no one expected. We never put on the calendar, and suddenly we need to scramble to get kids to and from where they need to go. Throw on top of that the end of your stresses in the business of needing to wrap things up and find allocations for certain funds and use up money depending on how you have your tax set up for your corporation, or needing to finalize payments on things that are now wrapping up. And just at that time, suddenly the patients start asking for more. They're wrapping things up financially, and their insurance companies have certain numbers that they need to hit, and they start asking you, can we treatment plan this before the end of the year? Can we get started on this before the end of the year? And you start feeling the pressure of squeezing more patients in. Of course you want to accommodate them. Of course you want to help them. But you're noticing the whole time your stress level picks up. And then there's the family. Now you've offered to host everyone for Thanksgiving or everyone for the holidays, for Christmas, and you have 19 people coming to stay at your house, or 27 people coming to you for one of those holidays that you're cooking everything for, and also working right up until the last minute. throw in the addition of needing to buy gifts and make it magical. And I don't know if any of you are still in the Elf on the Shelf stage, but nightly I would experience this 2 a.m. terror where I'd be fast asleep, literally fast asleep, and my body would be holding on to stress that I didn't even realize. And at 2 a.m. it would wake me up and go, you forgot to move that darn elf on the shelf. And I'm using darn. I really want to use a different word. You forgot to move that damn elf on the shelf. And you realize, oh my gosh, my body is holding all this stress. Even when I'm asleep, no wonder I'm exhausted. No wonder everything feels hard. And you have such great intentions. You want to celebrate your team. You want them to know how grateful you are. But the pressure to find the right moment to have the holiday party for the office and then to get them all gifts and to write them all hand notes and to make it special, it feels so big and heavy. And it seems like it has such importance because if they don't feel valued, they might leave. And if your kids don't experience a magical Christmas, then what's the point? And if you can't create this perfect moment with your family on Thanksgiving, you know that there are not many days left with your parents. There's not many years. There's not many more years where all these people can get together. This is important. Everything feels so big and heavy and hard. All of these end of year, last minute, squeezed into just a handful of weeks feels so overwhelming. And if you're honest with yourself, underneath that, you feel a lot of resentment. A lot of resentment towards all those people who are pulling from you at the last minute. I know you're happy about those patients who are asking for more treatment, but really now, couldn't you have done it 3 months ago? Couldn't you have been on top of things? I'm on top of things. Couldn't you have been on top of things 3 months ago? Really? You have to wait till now to create that treatment plan? You're a little bit resentful of your team because you've been doing so many of their jobs. Now you've also got to throw their Christmas party? You're a little bit resentful of your family. Yes, you asked everyone to come to your house, but why does it always have to be your house? A little bit resentful of school. Like, why are you having this concert? Why do we always have concerts at Christmas time? And the piano teacher has to have a concert. And everybody seems like they also need an end of year party. Why do we have to all squeeze it into the last few weeks of the year when everything's already stressful? And then under that resentment, you feel a lot of shame and guilt. I don't like to feel resentful of the people I love. It's so sad. I feel so guilty about that. I feel so guilty being frustrated and angry that I have to make a gluten-free version and a dairy-free version of all the things for Thanksgiving. I love my family. I feel so bad that I get to that place. Sounding familiar? And maybe there's a part of you that's also feeling angry. It's not really fair. It's not really fair that you're put in this position, that everything lands on you. You're the one that has to figure out the schedule. You're the one that has to buy the Christmas presents. You're the one that has to create the Christmas party. You're the one that has to write the notes, the cards. You're the one that feels bad because you didn't get a Christmas card out to all your friends again this year. It feels a little defeating. Feels a little bit sad because you didn't come to this point in your life after building so much, after working so hard to feel so bad. And maybe the part that stings the most is not being present. Because at the end of the season, you know what's going to happen because you've been there before. You're going to be so exhausted, so flustered, so overwhelmed, so tired. You're going to start the year feeling depleted. And then we start this all over again. And you get this feeling like, what is the point? What's the point? And somewhere you remember feeling hopeful. You remember the excitement of Christmas, and that's really what you want to give to your family and your kids, right? You really want to give them that because you remember that. You remember the sparkle and the twinkle and the tinsel and the promise and the excitement. You remember, you have a memory of being around maybe a fireplace and actually being present and soaking up the beauty of that moment. And oh, that's what you want. And you know that when your mind is in a million places, you're not even present for that performance that your little one is in. And there's a part of you that knows that that performance is fleeting. And we never know when it's our last. We just had this experience with my son's last cross-country meet. My 2 older kids run cross-country, and we've loved going to all the events. We've loved going to all the cross-country events. But, at the time, it didn't feel like I was loving them. I was, they take up all day on a Saturday. You have to drive hours to get there. I felt terrible when I missed one because I was speaking. And we turned around to each other the other day, and Killian and I said to each other, oh my gosh, my son is in his senior year. That was his last cross-country meet probably ever. He's probably not going to run cross-country in college. Our 3rd child she doesn't run cross-country, but that was probably our last one ever. And we didn't even realize when we were there that it was our last one. And I think that realization happens in life with holidays. You never know when it's your last holiday with that person. You never know when it's your child's last performance in that respect. We don't get the warning. And to rob ourselves from being present seems so sad. If you are resonating with this, and if you're feeling that sadness and that stress, I felt stressed just talking about it. I felt stressful just, my body is holding on to so much stress and anger and resentment and fear and just talking about it. So if you're resonating with this, you're not alone. And the truth is, every single component of what I just talked about can feel easy this season. Not a single thing needs to change outside of you for you to experience the joy, the magic, the presence in the moment, the appreciation this season. Not one thing outside of you needs to change. And I know that sounds impossible, but let me invite you on November 22nd. If this is something that's resonating, you're going to want to be there. I'm offering a free virtual workshop. This is exclusively to women in dentistry from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be looking specifically at how to calm and take all the stress out of the season. These simple, easy tweaks. It's much simpler than you think. Just a few minor shifts will take all that overwhelm and fear and stress out of your holiday season and leave you feeling present, like you can actually enjoy and actually appreciate and actually love and actually be a part of this holiday season and not let it just fly by in a fury where you're left exhausted, starting the new year already being depleted. So please go to www.easiestholiday.com and register for this workshop. 0 requirements. Yes, if you cannot make it, you get the whole recording. You can watch it on your own time. This is meant to be easy. Actually, going through the holidays is meant to be easy. This is meant to be a time of celebration. This is meant to be a time of reflection and appreciation and love. And all we need to do is change a few tiny little things. That's it. And this is what this workshop is all about. So don't question it. Sign up. You definitely need it. And tell your friends about it. Tell all the women in your world about it because it's going to be magical. And no, you do not have to compromise on your expectations of financial end-of-year goals or having a party for your team members or being the best mom that you can. None of that needs to be compromised. This is inside work, and it just takes a few little minor shifts. Because why does it matter? It matters because you didn't go into dentistry to experience more stress. If you think back to when you had this dream, you didn't go in thinking, oh my gosh, let's up level the stress. No, we actually went into dentistry for the exact opposite, to have freedom of time, freedom of our calendar, freedom to be able to say what we want to do with our lives and afford what we want to do with our lives, right? Because it matters because you have been working so hard all year long. You have. To now feel like it was not worth it, to feel like it was all for naught because you failed again, you didn't hit those goals again, you're finishing the year again feeling exhausted. What was the point? Because your children deserve you this holiday season. They deserve you calm. The kids pick up on our energy. We know this. And dragging them to breakfast with Santa, screaming and crying because they hate their outfit and you bought that thing and now they got to put it on, really, really defeats the purpose. And something in the back of your mind, you know that. There's a part of you that really knows that. And that is only fueled by the stress that you're under. Because it matters because your parents will only be here for so long. Your brothers and sisters, your aunts and uncles, your grandparents, whoever matters and is so important to you in this life, they'll only be here for so long. And we never know when that last holiday hits. And you being present and being a part of that memory and not just the one in the kitchen slaving and stressing and, bifurcating her time between 10 things or feeling resentful, it's so important. So these tweaks we're going to talk about in the workshop, these simple scripts, these simple adjustments, just takes a few. And trust me, I was the queen of hard before. I was the queen of making things hard. But it gets to be easy. And when it's easy, it's actually more enjoyable. So I need you to join the workshop because we're going to be actually processing through this. This is not something you can just get in a podcast episode. This is real tactical implementation. For it to actually take effect in your life, you'll need to be at the workshop. However, for the purposes of this beautiful episode, I'm going to offer you a really, really big, beautiful, juicy shift. This is not a part of the workshop, but this is my gift to you now. This one simple phrase. How can I make it easy? That's it. That's it. I think for so long we've thought that hard means success. For so long, I know for me, growing up, my dad used to say, if it isn't worth doing well, it isn't worth doing. Meaning you always put your best foot forward. You always put your greatest effort. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Otherwise, it's not worth doing at all. And I believe that. And somewhere that translated to, if it isn't worth doing hard, it isn't worth doing at all. Somewhere well and hard got crossed over for me. Excellence and intense effort. If you're going to work hard, if you're going to see success, you've got to work hard. Somewhere I got those lines crossed. And it doesn't have to be that way because that's not the truth. And untangling that takes some work. But we can start with this one simple phrase. How can I make it easy? What if easy was the secret to greater success? Because here's the cheat code. That's what is the secret to greater success. You might have noticed a certain amount of success to this point because you were really working hard. And your mind is telling you, oh my God, hard work gets great success. But you found yourself plateauing, or you found yourself unhappy, or you found yourself unfulfilled, or you found yourself constantly beating yourself up. That's not success, not in my book. And you realize, wait a minute, there's actually something more. There's a next level. There's a new way of doing things beyond the old way. I mean, bravo to hard work up until this point. Bravo. Look at how much you did doing it the hard way. Now imagine how much you can get done doing it the easy way. So simply asking yourself, how can this be easy? One example of that might be, how can this be easy? Let's talk about that team party, team gathering. It's happening on December 13th. You've set the date and you haven't done anything for it yet. And it's in the back of your mind. It's like another to-do list. How can it be easy? How can it be easy? And maybe you have the answer right now. Well, it can be easy by, I don't know, putting your office manager in charge of creating the whole party. What? What if you actually didn't have to be a part of any of that party? You actually put someone else in charge of it. How easy would that be? How much less stress and concern and just time in your head, in the shower, when you wake up in the morning, in the middle of the night? What could you do with all that brain space and all that free time if you just let go of that one little thing and passed on that one job to your office manager? And by the way, how great would she feel? She would feel so valued and appreciated and honored. Oh my gosh, you trust me? You trust me? How much fun would she have with it? I mean, because party planning is fun, right? It is fun. And if you love it and it jazzes you and it fuels you and you're like, no, Tarryn, I don't want to lose that. I love doing that. Amazing. I'm saying what would make it easy, not take something away from you that you love to do. What would make it easy? Christmas shopping. For all the people. What would make it easy? Well, the internet has made it easy, for sure. And I stopped blaming myself and shaming myself for shopping online. I don't know. Maybe I'm late to the game, everyone. And listening to this, you're like, come on, Tarryn. That's the only way to do it. But what I've realized is I can do themes of gifts. And I love it. This year's theme, comfort. That's it. So I'm doing like fuzzy slippers and these pads that you warm up that are in the microwave oven, like heating pads that are furry, and good smelling creams and lotions. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing comfort, full on comfort, delicious teas and these sweet mugs for every single woman I have in my family. That's it. They're getting comfort. Done. How can I make this easy? Just asking yourself that one question and then choosing the easy button. It's amazing how we've created so much hard in our own lives, isn't it? Isn't it so interesting? And what I'd love for you to do is just pick one. Just pick one thing that is really weighing heavy on you. And ask yourself, how can I make this easy? Maybe it's the meeting that you have with your accountant that you have to get so many things done by a certain time by the end of the year. How can I make that easy? And only you know the answer to that, and you really do. So if you're having trouble finding what that is, I invite you to just close your eyes. Not while you're driving. If you're listening to this while you're driving, save this for when you stop driving, maybe even right when you get to where you're going. Give yourself permission 2 minutes before you run out the car and run into the wherever you're going. But literally, close your eyes. Very important step, calm your nervous system. Because here's the thing, the reason why your mind is telling you, I don't know how to make it easy, is because you're in fight or flight and because your nervous system is in stress. I know, it is. That is why you can't access the answer, because the answers are always inside of you. Boom. You are that brilliant. You got yourself here. You know what you're doing. And I know you don't believe that right now, but just hold this for a moment as a possibility. All you need to do is calm your body down. So we do it with a couple of deep breaths, eyes closed. Literally inhaling and exhaling and paying attention to your breath, focusing on the inhale. And then on the exhale, you can even let out a little audible sigh. I recommend 3 to 5 rounds just to get your body calm. And then you can ask yourself out loud, how can I make this easy? Whatever this is. I have to write the whole menu and grocery list for Thanksgiving. How can I make this easy? Boom. It'll come to you. It'll come to you. Maybe it's asking ChatGPT. Maybe it's using the menu you used last year. Maybe it's asking everyone to bring their own dish. But give yourself permission to just make it easy, this one thing. And then I want you to notice how much better you feel in your body. just recognize, oh my gosh, if I put this one thing down, this end of year season, this one heaviness, just by asking myself this one question, how can it be easy? Feel how good that feels and how much more space you have in your life to do really magical things, to bring your focus and your attention and your energy to the parts of your life that feel really valuable, that have great meaning. It's a phenomenal exercise. Okay, so do not stop and pause and question yourself. Sign up at easiestholiday.com. Go there now. Get your seat. It's free. This is a no-brainer. You need this. And then use this beautiful tip that I've given you right now. How can I make it easy? Just on one little thing. This is going to be the season that you're present, that you remember, that you love, that you enjoy, that you actually feel the Christmas magic, the holiday magic, whatever you celebrate, that you actually feel good about your year, your leadership, your career. You look back over the year and you go, oh my gosh, Tarryn, you're doing amazing and I love you. And that you start the year feeling rested and excited and enthusiastic and confident. Let that be this year. And it starts with easiest holiday season ever. All right, enough of that. www.easiestholiday.com. You've got this. Let's make it easy. And remember, when you feel good, that is when you actually do things in your life that are really good for you. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Business of Happiness podcast. If this episode brought you new perspective and value, I invite you to subscribe so that you catch all upcoming episodes and leave us a review. And if you know of a friend or colleague who could benefit from this perspective, share this episode with them and empower their day. For more information about the Business of Happiness and the Radical Happiness for Practitioners course, find me on www.thebizofhappiness.com. See you there.